Hello, everybody. My name is Rita Compton. I am President and CEO of Archimedes Offspring. I hope you are enjoying the holiday season. We are getting close now. And yes, we are having a holiday party tonight. If you're in the neighborhood, come on over. I'd love to see you. Do I look okay? We don't have much longer till everybody's going to show up. So today we're talking about what's in a name. And what I want to tell you is share your experiences with me, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because you know what? A lot of the inventors out there learn from your lessons, all right? And the more we can help each other, the better off we are. And so you help with the good lessons and you help with the bad lessons. So, let me know. Shoot it over to me. I know if you post something on Facebook or LinkedIn, Andrea will send you my direct email line. I can respond to you when I have your email address. So if you send me an email, I can get back to you. I can reach out. I can answer your questions. Sometimes when you share your story with me, it makes for a good video because, like I said, we can share it with everybody else and say, oh, Lordy, don't do it this way. It gives me inspiration too when I hear your stories. So sharing stories. I had a lady, we were talking about the name of her product. So here's where this kind of breaks down. People always, when you're naming a business, so let's look at business versus product. When you're naming a business, people always say, put it in there, something about what it is so people know how to Google you. And then they give you this really stupid advice of, oh, but when you're naming your product, make it unique and cutesy. Reverse that, please. Let me give you a good example. Apple paid millions of advertising dollars to teach you that an apple is something you play with and not something you eat. How many of us in our adult years always thought an apple was something that you put on the table for nutrition, all right, and not something that you played a game on? Same thing with a name. If you name it something silly, right, nobody knows you are there, really. If you create a new spelling, say, well, I'll just, I'll put a Z in there and, or an X instead of an S or, something like that. Nobody knows you are there. You are going to spend way too much money. So what do? This is the fun part. All right. I always tell people, get a case of beer or a couple bottles of wine and a group of friends over and say, what would you Google to find this? So many times when we're looking at the product, we, all right, you and me, and we see it exactly what it is and we call it exactly what it is. That's not necessarily the best way to do this. When I was writing my novels in another life, we would sit down exactly like I'm saying. I'd get a group of friends over and say, okay, here's the basis of the story. Give me words, give me adjectives that we can do. And we came up with some really good names. The key is that look at what someone would Google to find you and then use some of those words. And then you need adjectives. You need something fanciful in there in order for the trademark to be issued. So if it's exactly what it is, no, the trademark office will not issue it. It's got to be a combination. This is where the word search, the word game, however you want to look at it, is really critical. If you've got one word that puts it into the right category. The other thing is and I've got some examples for you. We had some people that did a new pet tag holder, and they called it Tag-A-Beaner. Well, nobody knows what a Tag-A-Beaner is. It was a new spelling, new product name. It was cutesy. All right. But underneath it, they go, a pet tag holder. Well, that's exactly what it was, pet tag holder. Well, the trademark got issued on Tag-A-Beaner, which is great. All right. But everything they printed, every place they went on the internet, everything had a pet tag holder, Tag-A-Beaner, a pet tag holder. Well, if you're looking for a pet tag holder, what do you Google? A pet tag holder. We had another gentleman, he wanted to call his product Door Dog. Now, when you Google Door Dog, you get millions of doggy doors. Literally, we got millions of doggy doors. But he was adamant on that. Well, what do you Google to find his product? How to hang a door. So we got the tagline, howtohangadoor.net, and now he's on the first page. You have to be smart with your words. So if you are wedded to something fanciful, you need then a tagline that you can marry up to it. Get a .com for each of them if you can, or a .net for the tagline, and then it goes on to everything. So wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, honestly, if you've got $1 million to spend on marketing, by all means, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Most inventors who come to me and they go, I don't have $1 million to spend on a darn name. I spent my savings on, patents and prototypes and getting some of these things developed. And now we've got to name it. If people don't know you are there, they are never going to find you, and you are never going to sell anything. The name is really important. All right. You've got to give some people something to work with. So again, when they've got a problem and they're looking for a particular type of product, even on Amazon, you've got to have some names, some words in there that make sense. So when you sit around the table, when you're trying to come up with a name, I don't care what you call your company. You can call it, all right. I know this is always set for kids, so I was trying to be really careful before I went out the door with it. The name of my company, all right, is called Flacuza. All right, nobody knows what that is. It doesn't matter if anybody knows what that is. It means something to me. The letters stand for faith, love, and commitment. And when the web designer said, well, FLC is taken by a German company, and I said, oh, for goodness sakes, put a USA on there and we are good to go. Well, then I started thinking about it, and it's like, well, Fleck USA, that sounds kind of silly. We need a vowel. When you think about the options for vowels with the letters FLC, you kind of want to pick the one that's going to work. So we picked the E, right? So we've got now Flacuza, because I didn't like Fleck USA. We've got Flacuza. It's unique. It's just the business entity. I don't care if anybody finds it. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just the business entity for the IRS and the EIN number. But my brand is the Inventor Lady. And that came up by accident. I was down at the Denver Metro Chamber one day, and somebody came up with, I know you, you're that Inventor Lady. It's like, works for me. And went back to my desk and got inventorlady.com. And what do people Google when they're looking for me? Inventor Lady. Pretty straightforward. So when you are thinking about the name, what would someone Google to find you is the first question to ask yourself. Not how cutesy you can be and not how silly you can spell it. And if that .com is taken, see if you can work another one. And that's why having friends over and you have a good time with it and you throw out some silly words, you never know. You just never know what your friends are going to come up with. And you have a good time. Fun thing to do around the holidays, get people together. If you've got family coming over and say, okay, we're going to do an exercise. Let's do a game. And sit around the table and say, all right, here's my product. What would you Google to find me? Now, what are some fun adjectives? It works. It's amazing how often that works. And you can come up with some really good words that you can, mix and match, change around, see what you can get the .com for. And be careful, again, of silly spellings. I don't care what you use for your silly adjectives. Those are always, those can work. All right. If they make sense, it also helps. If not, find a tagline. All right. Something that you can marry up to the name. All right. If you're doing that, then I really don't care how crazy your spelling is. Because nobody's going to Google you to find you. They're going to Google the tagline. And that's what we want. We want people to find you. When you go out there onto YouTube with a video, or you're selling a few on Amazon, you really need to have people find you. Got to be found. Got to know what's out there. Think about how often you go and do a keyword search. You didn't know the name of the product, but you search and say, I like that one. Or some of the silly combinations that are out there. Be on the smart side, not on the silly side. And for, get your kids sitting around the table. Find out what they would Google. That's always a fun thing to do as well. So anyway, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. Today's Friday. We will be doing video on Monday next week and Friday, I think. Anyway, there's a couple next week. I will talk to you then. We are working here. So if you've got a thought or an idea or a question, shoot it over to me. And remember, my email address is rita@archimedesoffspring.com or rita@inventorlady.com. And when you are going through the vetting process and we are helping you, once you're chosen, we do help you work through that exercise of what would we Google to find you. All right. So there is the mentoring exercise that's out there. It does help you create the name and the idea. And got to be smart with your money, our money, and the investor's money. Let's be smart. All right. I will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful weekend.